Guys, it's amazing being in this place. I'm hoping y'all having a great day. I know we are. I know it's like I'm itching to get done with this talk so I can see how many we already got locked into family reunion coming up. I don't know about y'all, but we're going to blow it up. I know your team will too. Oh my gosh. All right. So what are we here to talk about? Over the last 15 months, we've doubled our business, and we didn't go from one app to 2 apps a month. I'm going to give you an idea of what we've done. As we talked to Andy, we talked to Mark, we said, look, there's certain things we know we've done right. And they said, look, can you share what you know that you're doing right that's having an impact on growing? So raise your hand if you're here and give me a shout out if you're like excited about growing your business significantly. I'm going to do my best to share with you what Noah and I and our team has done, what we've learned from Andy, and what we've implemented, specific changes and things here. All right, so let's kind of get into it. Some of you may not know me, so you're like, who is this guy? Does he know what he's talking about? Yeah, I wonder that too. But let me give you an idea. In 2021, our business, we were averaging $485,000 a month in premium with about 75 unique riders. Okay, life was good, but we saw an opportunity to kick in, make some changes, and run. And as we worked through the last 15 months, here's what this first quarter has looked like. In January, we popped 614,000 with 116 unique riders. February, 650,000 with 129 unique riders. March, $888,000 in premium with 127,000. That's a double. And so, as we sit there and we look at it, there's a guy I listen to. If you're an NFL sports fan, give me a shout. Okay. There's a guy named Mike Lombardi I listen to. He's written a book called Gridiron Genius. He spent his career working for Bill Walsh. He spent his career working for Al Davis and working for Bill Belichick. And this guy, he knows football. And he says, after a team wins or after a team loses, on that plane ride back, he says, it's the job of those coaches not just sit there and celebrate, but to say, why did we win? Why did we lose? And so that's really what we've tried to do, and that's what I'm trying to encapsulate here for you. So as we look at why are we winning, we've become active in life, health, and wealth. Andy's opened up the doors just beyond just final expense, beyond just mortgage protection. You see the infrastructure that we've got now open to us in the Medicare and the health side. We've got the opportunity in the wealth side. You saw what BAM is doing, our annuity carriers. And one of the things that we've realized is that there are other players in the business that compete against us. Some of them, all they do is sell final expense life insurance. You might have interviewed or seen some of them. Maybe you used to be one. It looks like this guy. His name is Ugg. And he's a mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging Neanderthal because he wakes up every day and says, me Ugg, me sell final expense, me like to door knock and maybe find somebody to sell to. But if you ask him, can he do a hospital indemnity plan or Medicare? He's like, no, me no know that. And so he says, you talk to him, what's your training? He's like, me trained to buy more leads. Now, to be clear, we're all in favor of buying more leads, but we've learned that our clients that are buying final expense are also the same people that are buying or enrolling in a Medicare program. They're the ones that need their retirement taken care of, and addressing the fact that we're going to choose to be a little bit smarter than our competition and embrace that has had a big impact on our growth. So we're excited about that. All right, other things we say, as we looked at that, I will tell you, as we got into that and embraced that more, it was a pain. Learning about Medicare took time. We've made some mistakes. I'll tell you the truth about it. It's been good and bad. The good is it's opened up more doorways. It took more work. And we had some people that said, I'm going to do all Medicare. Well, it wasn't necessarily a great starting point because we think it's easier to start in the life business and weave in Medicare. So if you're here and you're brand new and you hear us talk about some of these things, be smart about how you get your business off the ground. But I will tell you, by embracing all of this has had a huge impact on what we're doing. So agents now have more ways to serve a family. As they're out there serving a family, what we've seen is there's more revenue per family, not just because you're writing more applications, but as you're helping families, maybe you couldn't help them in a life. Maybe they just had the best product and it didn't make sense to get more. But now if you go down the Medicare or the hospital indemnity path, instead of it being a no sale, you've got another opportunity. And maybe because you then help them on the Medicare side, now they believe in you when you start to talk about their retirement with them. Additionally, hey, the hospital indemnity, the Medicare side, that's given us more on the renewal side. If you like, hey, who gets excited about the passive income from renewals? You know? And so I've never lost sight that I like renewals and I like overrides. To me, it's like when the pastor's asking for money and he says, hey, we appreciate the kind that jingles, but we'd rather have the kind that folds. So the overrides is the kind that folds, but we still take in both, okay? What we found is that when you're embracing all three as an agent or your agent on your team, is more time efficient. As you're going out to see families, you can get more leads in the same county if you're taking life or final expense, mortgage protection, Medicare, and other types. And then you're also realizing, hey, I can not just get direct mail for Medicare, but there's also internet for Medicare and for life as well. You can now have more leads in the same geographic place, which means we don't have to play running across the 4 or 5 counties to get a GMR filled. You can now see plenty of people, and because you're now getting referrals and going back to the same clients, it's all in the same space. It has a huge impact on you as an agent or the agents on your team. It's also helping us attract and retain agents. As we're growing and as we are a recruiting and growing organization, we see other agents out there that don't, other organizations outside of the alliance that may not believe in training and equipping their agents like we do. And we're just like, we start talking to people, say, hey, have you learned about this? No. I said, what kind of training do you have? Well, not much. We said, well, we believe in these things. We'll equip you and train you. And we've got people that are joining our team and sticking with us because they see the profitability. They see the Megan Wood incomes, and they know that, yes, she's doing that volume on 1,500 to 2,000 in leads a week, yet creating 100,000 in revenue and income from that. And that's how we're getting that done. Some agents may not jump into Medicare. We're not forcing them. Some agents we have that are doing more in Medicare and less in life. We're not beating anybody into saying you got to do it. We're just saying, here's the buffet, grab what you want. So I don't want somebody to come out of this and say, oh, Mike said we have to do all three and we have to make everybody. No. We're just making sure the buffet is there and that it's stocked and people can get what they want and that we're coaching them on how to do it in a smart way. Why are we winning? Face-to-face business, face-to-face selling is our core. I'm not against telesales. We love telesales, but for a new agent, learning by telesales is like having them become a tightrope walker to have them do their first walk across the Grand Canyon. It's like, I remember watching that guy, Nick Walenda. For those that know, he's that tightrope walker. I remember they put on Fox News one Sunday night and said, this guy's going to walk across the Grand Canyon on live TV. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't watch much TV, but I'm going to watch that joker. I'm like, if he falls flat, I want to say I saw it live. And so I remember they had this guy, and they had that televangelist guy who's from Houston, who's got the big teeth, the black curly hair. What's that guy's name? Yeah, Olsey. He's praying on him on one side of the Grand Canyon before he goes. Like, oh my gosh, this is good TV. I was like, these producers know what they're doing. They're putting on a show. And that joker, he went across, I think he ran the last 15 yards. I kept thinking he might fall, but he didn't. But here's what I watched. That joker, they showed him training down in Sarasota on a wire for like 2 years beforehand on a wire 18 inches above the ground. That joker didn't start doing telesales or walking across the Grand Canyon first time. He started face-to-face, and we know for agents they're going to learn faster. They're going to get a higher return on their lead investment. They're going to connect with more leads through door knocks when they're out in the field. We've just seen it's a better way. And where some other organizations may be zigging by saying we believe in all telesales, we believe that for the seniors that are out there and for our core, we're very much going down the direction of face-to-face. But now, as we said, we've got the number one telesale agent in the company with Megan Wood on our team, so we're not against telesales, but guess what? Every one of our clients she meets for the first time face-to-face. So being clear on that, hopefully that's helping. Let's jump in. All right. Why are we winning? Recruiting and building. There's two different roles. Both are important. Recruiting, that's like birthing an agent. Building is like parenting. Now, recruiting and birthing takes 9 months. Parenting takes a couple decades or more. And so you can't be a parent without birthing. Now, I know some agents, birthing's like, okay, hey, I interviewed them, I got them ready to go, I fast-tracked them, and they want to get all that recognition. That's kind of like, oh, congratulations. And yes, you've got to get them to that point, but the real work starts with the building and the parenting. I know it's like when Noelle gave birth to one of our kids, it's like, I wanted to take the credit. Somebody said, congratulations. I said, no, I did an awesome job, didn't I? My role took about 15 seconds. And I was like, but no, I did hold a leg. Noelle's just like, no, you didn't. This is not your victory. Okay. But some of you out there, like, you want the credit because you fast-tracked or contracted somebody. I'm like, that's not where the work really begins for us. And so on the parenting, it's like, hey, that is the building. That's where, okay, now we're getting started, and that's where the work is. Jump in. As we get into the work, we talk about the ways we're getting people started. Every time we have a conversation, we're thinking about 3 things. We're thinking about LLC, license and selling, lists and inviting, conference and community. Andy's taught us this for over a decade now. He says, this is what you got to do every time when we're chatting with somebody. And so when we talk about license and selling, I'm going to get into the details of that on another slide here. List and inviting. If they are excited about building a business, we're taking some time to talk to them about that. We're getting into the, hey, do you understand the power of overrides? Do you see that that's really going to give you more freedom? Yes, renewals are awesome, but do you understand building and getting them excited? And we do that, we're starting to talk to them about how they can start inviting, how they can be a talent scout, even though they don't have the means to be a coach. So there's scouting and there's coaching and training. Anybody can invite. Anybody can be a talent scout. We'll teach them how to be a coach later, but if somebody's getting rolling, we can jump in and provide the training for that individual. We're always talking about conference. All right, we're going to keep going here. Oh, Bam Fam. As we're having these conversations, I'm thinking about all 3 or doing my best to. Sometimes it's easy to get worked into the details of, am I getting them licensed selling? I can mess up and forget in a heartbeat to talk about the other L and C. But I make sure every time I have a conversation, our leaders, we're talking about this, every time we have a conversation, we Bam Fam. What's Bam Fam? Book a meeting from a meeting. That's correct. So many people don't understand this. And it's easy to say. It's not always easy to do or remember, because you're finishing up a call and you're thinking, my gosh, I've got another person I've got to call back that I missed. And you're trying to remember, how do I do that? And the biggest thing is to slow down and discipline to pull out your calendar. In fact, here's a quick tip. If I can give you, who would like a technical tip on being smarter with your calendar? Here we go. This took me a while to figure this out, but I live this every time I'm on a call. So I had an appointment the other day. It was Thursday. We'd flown in. I talked to this kid named Zach earlier in the day. We helped him write his first application on himself. Let's give it up for Zach. He's not here, but we'll give it up for him anyways. So I talked to him again after he finished his application after I landed. And so we're talking about the next things. And I said, hey, look, our next conversation we booked to talk to him this week. So I pull up, I use Google Calendar on my phone. It's also on my desktop. My staff has access to it. My wife has access to it. But if you don't know this, I keep my notes of what I'm doing here because I'm not that smart. I have to write stuff down. So I've got notes there from my last conversation. And so I go and I click on the appointment. I hit on the little 3 dots there, and that brings up the next thing where it says duplicate. I duplicate the appointment. I set the new date. I'm talking to him this coming Monday. We've got a specific time set. And then I went and I updated above those notes on 420. Well, I said he did his app on himself, and I know what to talk about next. So next time I talk to him, as I'm talking to I don't know how many different people in the course of a week, I now have something to jog my memory before I call him. His phone number's in there, so it's going to come up in my email as a reminder, and I'm good to go. The key is I do have to remember to put it in my calendar, and this is exactly what I do, so all my notes are moving forward every time. If this helps you, great. It is amazing, though, I will say how many times I ask people, what do you use for a calendar? I say, well, and I just get it, I don't know. And so if you don't have a calendar, please use something. Start with an activity book, but you can upgrade to this. Whatever it is you use, have something. I asked somebody who says, well, I don't know. I just kind of go by the seat of my pants. I said, well, that's interesting. I asked him, I say, what's more valuable to you, an hour of time or $100? He said, well, it's an hour of my time. I said, you saying that because you think that? Or that's you think I want to hear? Or is that what you really believe? He said, no, I really believe it. I said, that's interesting. So now do you check your bank account on your phone? Oh, I check it 3 times a day at least. So you check your bank account 3 times a day, but you don't have anything to manage a calendar. So I think you're full of crap, doofus. I said, if money is more important, if the time is more important, how come you have no means to manage it? So if you're not using something, if time's slipping by, you can't manage it by minutes, you don't know what you're doing. All right, we keep going here. When we talk about licensing and selling, here's the big thing, is getting somebody licensed. Okay, I'm not gonna walk you through the how-tos, but I think these core steps are something we teach our leaders to walk somebody through and to kind of guide them through these 5 things on the licensing and selling part. Get them licensed, starting with life, moving on to health. Get them carrier contracted, making sure they know how to fill this stuff out. We have a training page with videos using some of the tools from the ARC and Alliance University. We have them get through some basics. We don't send them in to watch 100 videos. We're like, can you watch some of the basics on appointment setting, running an appointment, and top 5 products? We then go through helping them look at their personal coverage. And it's more than just saying, go buy a policy on yourself because that's what the 8 steps say. When we talk about personal coverage, that's a chance for us as a leader to start to train them on what an appointment looks like. So I ask them, I say, hey, tell me, what do y'all have for coverage? Well, I got some at my job, or I got this policy, or I got this one here. I said, great, let's get it out and let's review it. He says, well, I know what I have. I said, awesome. Let's get it out and review it. And I tell him why I'm doing this, because you're going to have clients say the same thing. And I want you to go get your policy out, because what you have and what you think you have may be 2 different things. And this is where your career begins. And so we just start with treating them like we would treat a client and helping them see that there's a difference in how we do business. As we move through that personal coverage, now we set a platform of how we do things. And guess what? Maybe they have some great coverage. Maybe they don't have anything. And we walk through, hey, well, what would happen if you died a month ago? Who's on cleanup duty? This guy, Zach. He said, well, I got $60,000 of college loans. I think my parents are on the hook for it. I said, you want to leave them stuck with that, or you want to do something to fix this? Yeah, I think we ought to do something to fix it. Okay, great. So we just walk them through. We make sure he knows how to use a rate calculator. We're very hands-on. Whether it's my staff or me or another leader, somebody has to do this work to help that agent get there. Now, sometimes you're going to have a winner that figures stuff out pretty quick and they're grasping it. Sometimes you got someone that moves a little bit more slow. And sometimes you're like, gosh, I wonder if this guy's going to do anything, or I wonder if this girl's really worth it. But we're giving them all a shot, and we're going to, as long as they're responding, we're going to help them out as best we can. We then have them run some war market appointments. We teach them how to book them, who makes for a good war market appointment. We don't care if it ends up in a sale, but we're like, can you get into booking an appointment? All right. Leads, you heard Andy interview Megan. We're okay with helping an agent get started where we cover their lead cost. We do have expectations. It's going to be at a lower commission level. We do expect that they're working and communicating, because I let them know, I said, look, this is my money we're working with, or Noelle's money. I said, and I might not be so mad, but Noelle, she might really get mad if you disrespect her money, so I really need you to communicate so I can keep getting you more leads. And so it's a high expectation if we're running that direction. We expect accountability. We don't expect perfection. We just expect work and accountability. Now, we have some people that maybe the next step is they're making money. We move them up to where we're sharing. I can remember Kevin Lewis, and in fact, he's been selected to be a trainer at Family Reunion. Let's give it up for Kevin Lewis. Kevin, he still wasn't sure how much he trusted us his first time he got leads. So it was like we covered his leads at a lower contract. He came back 7 days later. He's like, dude, this works. Slaps his credit card down on my desk. He said, I'm paying for all my leads. You take me to a higher contract right now. I'm like, yes, sir. And so we absolutely did that, and that's okay. So we let people know where you start is not where you end, but it's a path. And we have some people come in, they're liquid, they're ready to start dropping $1,000 at least in their first week, but not everybody's like that. So having this wider funnel helps us get people rolling. All right, being present to serve. This is where the real parenting, I think, jumps in at the next level. So we have an office. We invite local regional agents to come to our office. Before we had an office, because somebody's like, well, I don't have an office. I was like, okay. We would get together somewhere, whether it's at a restaurant or our townhouse was our office. We had a place where we could meet people, whatever it was that we were willing to open up for people to gather at. So we use it as an asset. We still do to this day. We purchased a building a year ago. We've got it tricked out. We're happy it's a showpiece. But again, before we did that, we said, look, we're going to make sure we have an inviting environment for people that want to come around, or they can be there for a dial day and whatever else. We travel to them. We never built our business on a couch. We never built our business sitting back on a Zoom. Do we use Zoom? Yes, but that's not how we built our business. That's kind of maybe what helps us maintain it. And so deciding who do we need to go see. And when we do go to see somebody, we make sure we're not just going to see one. We're letting the team know, hey, I'm going here. Who else has got somebody to meet? My staff knows, hey, we need to run some more ads, or where else can we target people in the same market? So if somebody is a no-show or somebody's not as sharp as we might hope, we've got some other shots that we're working with. When we're there, what do? We might be training. We might be sitting down doing a dial session with them. We might be running appointments with them. We might be sitting around and doing dials to people off their warm market list and chatting with them about doing some invites and some presentations. We're breaking bread. Maybe we're meeting their spouse. Maybe we're hanging out and doing something fun with their kids. But we're spending time building a relationship and putting in the work. And this is really where, as you go out and see people, what we found is people respond to that. Sometimes we're like, man, I just can't get somebody to sign up for family reunion. Have you gone to see them? What have you done as a leader to earn their trust and earn their relationship? It's one of the things we ask, so that's huge. By the way, when we talk about anything I've shared with you here today, when I talk about hiring more agents in the same market, that's something that we learned from Andy. This is something Andy still does to this day. Have you ever noticed here's where I'm traveling? Heads up, get the word out. He's looking to work as many relationships as he can at one time. You can do that too. Lots of phone time. Yes, we're going out seeing people, lots of phone time, being present. We're available to take calls. We also reach out. I don't just say, call me if you need anything. First of all, I'm bam-famming each call if it's a relationship, so I'm not just waiting for them to call me. I talked to somebody today, say, yeah, I told them we need to talk every 2 days. So, okay, so when did you schedule yourself to call them? Well, so I didn't. I just figured they'd call me in 2 days. I said, dear God, you might as well buy a tombstone for that one. I say, it's not going to happen. You need to be the parent. That's like asking a 6-month-old, yeah, why don't you come and meet me in the kitchen and we'll get you some dinner. And so the 6-month-old ain't going to do it. It's like you have to recognize that the agent's not going to reach out when they're having a bad day. If they're having a dial day, we're making sure we're calling them when they're in their first 2 hours. It's a scheduled time. Why? Because they got their butt kicked. But you say, well, if they were having a bad day, they would know to call me. No, they don't know to call you. What their reaction is probably to sit there and cry and tell their wife that this won't work. And so if you don't step up and plan to talk to them, you have a chance at losing them. Anticipate some resistance. It's like dropping your kid off at kindergarten or preschool for this first day. Half of them are going to be excited to run away from you. The other half are going to cry screaming because they don't want you to let go of them. And so it's kind of that same mindset in their first dial day. All right, prepping them before their dial day. Coach them on their dial day. When they're in the field or on their appointment day, are you prepping them before they go out? And are you making sure, if you know they have appointments, we teach them to call from the home. And if you haven't heard from them, you say, hey, Bo, how's it going? At least a text or a call and make sure they didn't fall into a ditch or something. Maybe they had, again, just being present and being thoughtful. Just if your kid goes to school and they come back from school, you're saying, hey, how'd your day go? How's your baseball game? And the biggest thing I can say is just relating so much of this to parenting. All right. Hiring and developing staff to help serve. Our staff is an extension of us. Our staff is an extension of what we're trying to do. And as you decide we're going to build something big, it's not just Noel and I building our staff, but it's finding the people within the organization that want to win and encourage them. Like Megan has got more and more staff. Jake and Bray have more staff. Josephine has Duke's more staff. And there's other people, if I start naming people that got staff. But understanding it's not just Noel and I. We're setting the example and doing it, but we're also coaching agents on how and what they need and helping them think through. Because hiring your first staff person, you might get lucky and have a good one, but that's about a 1 in 100 shot. You're probably going to have to go through a few. Hiring staff takes practice. All right. Let's see. Jump on that. All right, we're good here. Okay. Event-based learning. I used to wait to promote a major event, like 3, 4, 5 weeks before. In fact, if I could be really transparent with you, I don't like promoting events. It sucks. I dislike it. And I wasn't very good at it. Somewhere over the last couple of years, in fact, I would wait, and I'd just kind of like, okay, yeah, I promoted it. Noel would remind me, you need to promote it. And I'd be like, yeah, shut up. Let me do my own thing. I know what I'm doing. I'm smarter than you. For those of you who got coached by your spouse, it's difficult. But thankfully, Noel's smart enough to keep after me because it's probably difficult because I grimace. And she knows I don't like it, but she's smart enough to keep on me. But I will say a switch flipped within me a couple years ago. And I think I just chose to say we're going to become good at it and recognize when Mark came on board and said, here's the system, and here's when you embrace this, here's how you're going to grow. This piece here and me choosing to change and get past my selfish feelings of what I like or don't like has had a massive impact on why we've got 200 people here and why we'll have over 300 at family reunion. Okay, so we decided, hey, to have a partner-sized business, I can't do it all. It's funny, I watch some people, and it's like they've got their little fiefdom of like their 2 agents that they're kind of carrying around the convention center. They're almost kind of scared that somebody else might teach them too much, and their ego will be hurt because they'll learn something from someone else. And I'm like, man, I want to get as many people here and rely on y'all to train our people because I'm not that smart. I can't do it all, and I need you. And that's why we're beating the Riddle organization, because we got more people here. All right, no. Hey, to be clear, I love Andy Riddle, and I love the fact this team's got momentum. There's a lot of other teams I love, the Davies organization, several others that have got stuff happening. Diane Lambie, look, it's people doing good stuff, and I appreciate the folks that are putting time in, growing and making things happen, because it's causing our team to want to grow and run faster. So we're having fun with Andy Riddle. We've got a ton of respect for that team. I know they're cruising toward 2 million. But to have a partner-sized business, we can't do it all by ourselves. I totally get that. We embrace the quarterly events. It's working. And promotion for Miami starts today. And our biggest push is now through next Friday or wherever that earlier bird price disappears. Our team isn't going to sleep on Monday. We ain't sleeping and cutting back until that early bird price is gone. We're fighting like our life depends on it to get as many people to Miami between now and that cutoff. And then we're going to recruit like crazy. We might take a breath or a day off, rest for a day, and come back kicking. And as we recruit, making sure that Family Reunion Miami are on front of mind with every person we talk to all the time. So I used to be the guy that didn't want to. Now I'm like, no, it's all the time, every time, with everybody. Being obsessed with a new agent, whether it's the ones you hire directly or ones that you hire in depth. Caring enough to think about them regularly. It's funny, sometimes I mess up and I forgot to bam fam somebody because I'm not perfect. I screwed up a bunch. And I'll be thinking, oh crap, I forgot to call this guy. And it's like, let me send him a text. Let me get him on the phone. in hiring in depth and realizing I can't expect if I help somebody, hire somebody, I can't expect them to know what to do. It's more work. I've got to reach down and try to teach them with them. I have to anticipate what they're going to need help with. It's learning to think beyond myself. As you talk about being obsessive, any of my young people here know who this Mr. Beast is? Yeah. This dude's built a following on YouTube with over 100 million subscribers across multiple platforms and channels. The dude's making a jackpot of money, but I've watched a couple interviews with this joker, and he is obsessive. He'd tell you he's obsessive. He obsesses over details. He got big because he obsessed over his business. Kobe Bryant was obsessive, right? Anybody? And I'm a Celtics fan, but as respect to Kobe Bryant, what he did, that joker was obsessive with his work ethic. And Andy Albright's obsessive. And Dublin in the last 15 months took Noel and I being obsessive about the things I've shared with you. And here's what I want you to know. You can do it. You can double, and it won't take you 15 months to do it. With all the things we got coming in, you get more people to family you. I promise you, your business is going to take off. We're going to see some more massive growth through this group, and we are taking it to 10,000 at Coliseum. Love you guys. Happy to be here. Keep rocking.